Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ron, and today we're going to be doing another Deep Rock Galactic tier list. This time we're going to be going over all of the overclocks. I also just remember I don't need my headset for this. Doesn't help me to get any sound for nothing. We're going to be going over all the overclocks once again. This time we're going to be ranking them based on how much fun I think that they personally are. So if an overclock doesn't really do a whole lot, it's probably going to score fairly low. Doesn't mean that the overclock is bad by any means. There is a whole tier list ranking all the overclocks just all together in terms of how fun I think that they are. Or, sorry, in terms of how good I think they are. This will be how fun I think they are. Let's begin. These also aren't in any particular order whatsoever, and I don't really care to put them in a particular order. So first up, we have active stability system for the M1000. This lets you move faster when you're focusing. This one's pretty cool. I like this. You get to run around a lot. I'm going to put it into B tier because I don't think it's one of the most fun things you can run on the M1000, but it is a nice one to have. Then we've got aggressive venting on the drag, and aggressive venting on the drag is pretty fun, even though I'm not a big fan of actually using it to win. It is super fun to use, and it's super fun to watch other people to use, so I'm going to put this one up into A tier. You got AG mixture for the sludge pump. This one just makes your projectiles go more straight. You're less affected by gravity. It's like C tier. It's fine. Then we've got AI stability engine. This one's probably S tier for me. Having a gun that has practically like no recoil and no spread is just hilarious, how you can just pick things off from any distance. Then we got a little bit more oomph for the minigun. Fast spin up is awesome. You take this and you take the faster spin up. You have a 0.1 second spin up. Great. I love it. A tier. Then we've got armor breaking module. This one just breaks the armor of enemies. It is good, but just C tier. Automatic fire for the Sabata. This one's really fun. I like this one. A tier. You just turn your Sabata into a little submachine gun. Big Bertha. I'm less of a fan of this one in terms of how much fun it is. You do a lot of damage with the autocannon, but the autocannon's not super accurate. So, like, B tier. Bullet hell with the minigun. Randomness is always amazing. S tier. I love this in terms of fun. Not always in terms of practicality, because it can let you down at times, because it's just your bullets spray everywhere. Then we got Bullets of Mercy. Very good, very practical overclock. In terms of how much fun it is, it's fairly fun. I'd put it up into A tier, because you do kill things pretty quick with it. It's definitely not like S tier, though, in terms of fun. Then Burning Hell minigun. Lighting everything on fire is hilarious. It's pretty good, too. I don't think it's crazy, though. I think I'd put it up into A tier. Then we got Carpet Bomber. Tons of explosions. Your autocannon just blows up more area. Cool, but B tier in terms of fun. Chain hit on the revolver. I don't really like going with chain hit. It is kind of cool to have ricochets, but it's not all that consistent, so like D tier. Same with the Sabata's chain hit. They're like overclocks you throw on if you don't have anything else, or if you just can't think of anything else, because they'll go well with any build. Clean sweep with the grenade launcher. Bigger explosions are kind of cool with the grenade launcher, but you're still kind of just using the grenade launcher. B tier. I think it's fine. Combat mobility. Fast autocannon is fun. I like this one. A tier. Whoop, not S tier. A tier. Compact ammo assault rifle, you get more bullets, which is good, but it's kind of not super fun. Let's see, compact feed mechanism. This one is kind of fun, because you can have tons and tons of bullets with a minigun, then you take like a full ammo revolver, going with like magic bullets or 6-shooter, or you go with a full ammo burst pistol, and you have so much ammo it takes so long to get rid of. B tier, I think. Compact feed valves, same thing with the flamethrower, tons of ammo with it. It's kind of fun for that, but not one of my favorite ones for the flamethrower. Compact mags of the burst pistol. Same thing, you get tons of bullets. It's pretty good, but in terms of fun, compact rounds, again, kind of the same thing with the these other ones. You get a lot of rounds. I mean, this is for the grenade launcher, so it's got to be higher up than them, because, you know, it's more fun to shoot the grenade launcher, but it's still probably B tier. Compact shells, kind of the same thing with the double barrel. It's cool that you get more ammo, but that's about it. Custom or composite casings for the burst pistol, faster rate of fire. Yeah, that's cool. B tier. Composite drums, another B tier. Cryo minelets. This one is really cool. You get to freeze enemies. You can punch through enemies. If you go through blow through rounds, you can freeze multiple enemies. S tier in terms of fun. Custom casings. Just kind of a bigger magazine on the submachine guns, C tier. Cycle overload. This one's cool. If you run full rate of fire with the shotgun, you can shoot this thing incredibly fast. May not be the most practical unless you are point blank, in which case, yeah, you're going to do a ton of damage. Somewhere up into A tier. I like it. Dispenser compound. Disperser compound. I keep calling this one dispenser compound for some reason. Disperser compound, you get a lot more goo. It spreads out more. You do more damage on the ground. You do less direct damage, but you do more damage over time. It's really cool if you have this with somebody that has fire, or if you're running like persistent plasma, you can set it on fire. In which case, then yeah, this is pretty fun. Otherwise, it's probably like B tier. Double barrel. Double barrel actually is fun. It's not very good, which is the main issue with this overclock. C tier. If it was better, if it did more damage, or you got more shells, or you had something else besides just a slight damage increase, and you have to fire out both barrels, this one would be higher. Electrifying reload. In terms of fun, yeah, this one's kind of fun. You can spread electricity around. B tier. Electrocuting shots with the... this one's okay. Like, C tier. It's not the most fun. It's not as fun as just hitting stuff hard, in my opinion. Electro-mindlets with the burst pistol. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. This one's similar to cryo-mindlets. In terms of fun, I don't think I find this as fun as the cryo-mindlets, so I think I'd put this one into A tier. But I could see if you really like the mindlet concept, you're probably really going to like this. Elephant rounds, S tier. You just load massive bullets into your revolver and slam things super hard. It's pretty funny, especially since you can turn it into a sniper rifle. Embedded detonators, another S tier. You can blow up everything super quick with these. They're just a lot of fun to run around with. EM fire rebooster. I messed that one up. EM refire booster. This one's for stubby. This one's A tier. You can have a really high rate of fire stubby, and that's pretty fun. May not be as good as like elemental stubby or electric stubby, but still pretty cool. Energy rerouting. This one's okay. C tier. Eraser. More ammo. More targets. Another like C tier one. It's okay. Executioner. Lots of damage. This one's cool. I like it. A tier. Let's see. Exhaust vectoring. More damage. A little bit less accurate. I think I'd put this one in B tier in terms of fun, because you kind of just play it the same way you play the regular minigun. Minigun's still fun. This one's just a stronger minigun. See, experimental rounds with burst pistol. More damage is fine. B tier. Explosive chemical rounds with the smart rifle, though. S tier. That one's fun. You can just burst. You can actually use this as a burst gun that I don't dislike. In most games, I don't really care for burst guns because they're just not that good. I would rather have a full auto or a semi-auto gun rather than a burst fire gun. But in this case, I'd rather have the burst fire gun because every third burst or every third lock from the burst explodes, which is pretty cool. Explosive reload with the Sabata, probably S tier. It's the like same logic as embedded detonators. You blow stuff up, which is always fun. Face melter, yeah, probably S tier. You destroy stuff super quick at close range with it. It's still the basic flamethrower. It's just a shorter range, much more high damage flamethrower, so I like it. Fat Boy, S tier. You get to shoot mini nukes. It's great. Flow rate expansion. This one is kind of fun because you can freeze things quick. But it still feels not one of the best to me, so like B tier. Fragmentation missiles. You can make this, you can put this with like a bunch of, you can put this with stuns. You can put this with incinerary rounds, which is pretty cool. Probably like A tier. I like the bigger explosion radius. Fuel stream dispenser. This one's probably like A tier. You can have such a long-reaching flamethrower that it's really cool. Full chamber seal, a little bit more damage, whatever. C tier, B tier. That's where a lot of these kind of just kind of go. Gas recycling. This one's just like more rate of fire, more damage, but you slow yourself down. B tier in terms of fun. It's good, but in terms of fun, it doesn't really change the Zukovs a whole lot. Gas rerouting for the AR, kind of the same thing. Kind of cool. It's actually pretty good for the GK2, but not anything like super special. Goo Bomber Special, super fun. S tier. It's great. I love spraying out all the goo everywhere. Try not to take too many of what I'm saying out of context. Let's see. Heat pipe. This one's cool if you want to do mining, which is fun. But the overclock itself is just kind of meh, in my opinion. Because it's just, you take it so that you can mine more. Which mining with the EPC is super fun. Or just dealing high damage is. So, like B tier. Heavy hitter. You can spam fire the EPC. Spam firing the EPC isn't super fun, though. Your shots just don't fly fast enough to make it that fun. C tier. High voltage crossover. Kind of the basic thing of the breach cutter. You just electrocute stuff afterwards. Which is good, but B tier in terms of fun. Hipster. S tier. You can build spam fire. You can build focus shot. You can build a mixed build. Both are really strong against hordes. It's super fun to run this with blow-through rounds and just spray it into a crowd. It does make your battle rifle feel way more responsive. Let's see, homebrew powder. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. I like gambling, and the revolver usually comes out on top. This one can be more consistent than elephant rounds. It can actually be more, well, it's random chance. So it can potentially be better than elephant rounds, or it could potentially be not that great. So I kind of like the risk. The other homebrews, I don't really care for all that much because they don't randomize enough. I feel like the risk reward should be much higher on them, and they'd probably be better then. If they could follow the revolver's example, they'd be up into A tier, but for me, they're like down here in C tier. Overclock, S tier. You get to float around with your gun, which is cool. Anything that messes with like the gravity, well, at least your gravity, not necessarily the gun's gravity or the gun's projectile or whatever it is, that's always going to be fun. Let's see, hydrogen ion additive. This lets you deal a little bit more damage. You're still playing the sludge pump kind of the same, but more damage is nice. Hyper propellant, S tier. You get a rail gun. It's amazing. Ice spear, another probably S tier. You get to fire icicles out of your gun. Super fun to use. Ice storm. You do a lot of damage with ice storm. It's pretty cool. A tier, I think. Impact deflection, another S tier. Bouncy bullets on the Drac are so good. They're so good and they're so much fun to use. Thermal efficiency, another kind of meh one. You get a more efficient gun, which is good, but it's not, your gun just feels a bit better. Inferno, Inferno's really fun. I like this one. A tier. You burn through multiple enemies. It's really cool for crowds. Doesn't do as well against big enemies, but still strong. Jet fuel homebrew, probably A tier. This one's cool. You direct impact everything with your hurricane. You deal a lot of damage with it, and it's pretty fun to use. Jumbo shells, probably S tier. Loading your shotgun with jumbo shells just feels so good when you run up to something and just blast it and see either, well, it completely disappear, or, half its health get chunked out. But so that's pretty cool. Lead spray, A tier. It's pretty cool to spray just a ton of bullets at things at close range. It is a little bit risky to use, but I think that adds to the fun because you don't want to be too far away because otherwise lead spray is not the most accurate at all. Lead storm, I don't know where to put lead storm. Lead storm has some micromanaging issues where you kind of got to be jumping, do some bunny hops or be on a zip line or be on Doretta or something. It does feel good to do high damage, so I guess A tier in terms of fun. Lightweight cases. This one's like B tier, even though this one is probably an S tier perk or an S tier overclock overall. Because, you get so much value out of the breach cutter, but it is just you get extra ammo and a faster reload, so it feels really good, but maybe not the most fun because it doesn't change the gun a whole ton. Lightweight magazine, this one's like A tier, I think. Even though it's just you get more ammo for the Warthog and a faster reload, it feels really nice to have that extra ammo and that extra reload speed on it. Lightweight rounds, B tier. You get a lot more bullets with stubby, but less rate of fire. Cool. Lighter tanks, like C tier. You get more ammo. It's good, but it's nothing exciting. Magic bullets, S tier. Randomness, well, sort of randomness. You're still destroying everything. It's probably the fastest crowd control weapon you have as gunner. It might be the most efficient in terms of speed of crowd control weapon that you have too. It's kind of crazy how good magic bullets are. There's really only one build for magic bullets, but it's a pretty strong build. Magnetic cooling unit, D tier. If you want to do mining, pick heat pipe, pick persistent plasma, pick something fun. Magnetic cooling is just not fun. It's just slightly less punishing than some of the other ones, and even then, heat pipe's even less punishing than it. That's the magnetic pelt alignment, probably A tier. Having a shotgun that you can actually shoot at pretty long range feels great. So, yeah, I find that pretty fun. Manual guidance cutoff, D tier. This one's useless. There's no reason to take it ever. And it's just not fun to use because you take away the fun part of the gun. So if anything, this should probably be the lowest ranked one. One of the funnest things about the Hurricane is that you can guide the rockets around and have them move around and hit enemies. With this, once you release the trigger, you don't have that ability anymore. Micro flechettes, probably like B tier. You get a lot more ammo. You can stun enemies. You can have long bursts. It's cool, but doesn't change the burst pistol. Well, it does change the burst pistol in some ways, but still feels similar. Mine layer system, probably like A tier in terms of fun if you enjoy playing that type of playstyle, which can be fun to do. You can set up a minefield, you can set them with the incendiary rounds so that when the minefield goes off, you light everything on fire, which is pretty cool. If you don't like playing that way, though, where you have to kind of set stuff up and then have your enemies come to you and run through your minefield, it's probably not going to be super fun for you. Minimal clips. Even though this one's really basic, it's probably like A tier in terms of fun. You could argue it just being an S tier, the same as Hipster, because you can have, let's see, was it 9 charge shot rounds that body shot grunts, and if you take blow through rounds, you can body shot up to 3 grunts with a single shot. So it can actually be just as ammo efficient, sometimes even more ammo efficient than Hipster. And, yeah, it's pretty cool when you do it that way. Minimal magazines for the Zhukovs, C tier. More bullets is cool, but that's about it. Mini shells of the shotgun, again, probably B tier. You can run this a few interesting ways, but doesn't change the shotgun too much. Neuro lasso, I'm going to put into A tier. It's fun to slow enemies down. It's really good against big enemies because you can slow them down even more, so I like it. Let's see, neurotoxin payload. In terms of fun, probably S tier. You slow everything down so much, and you deal a ton of damage to everything with this. It feels great. It's so good at crowd control, and it actually feels pretty fun to use. Overcharger, let's see, Overcharger's probably A tier. Overcharger's fun. You get more damage. You can actually run Flying Nightmare on it. It is not as ammo efficient as some of the other overclocks for it, but you hit real hard with it, which I like. The overclocked firing mechanism, this one's fun. A tier. You can stack up so much rate of fire on the GK2 and just spray it out so quickly. It's not always the most practical thing to do, but it is fun. Oversized magazine, kind of like another meh one. You get more bullets, and it's probably the Sabata's best overall overclock, but it's just, you get more bullets and a slightly slower rate of fire. Let's see, overtuned feed mechanism, this one's fun. A tier. You can run this with full rate of fire and be shooting out rockets extremely fast, which feels great. Let's see, overtuned particle accelerator, probably another A tier. This one's really fun too. You can just spray out pretty much in a cone with all your plasma and kill everything out to about 15 feet or so. After that, the gun is not super accurate, which is okay. Yeah, it can be fun to use too. Pack Rat, again, another one that just gives you ammo. It's for the grenade launcher, so like you could argue that it's pretty cool because it is the grenade launcher, but it's just 2 extra ammo. So in terms of fun, alright. Persistent Plasma is probably like A tier in terms of fun. It's very efficient. It's better for mining than like heat pipe or the the magnetic cooling unit. So you can mine more efficiently with it. It does a lot of damage. It looks really cool because you get to see all the plasma everywhere. So I think A tier is fine. Plasma burster missiles, these ones are S tier in terms of fun. Like, you just get to control so many missiles and they can punch through multiple enemies. You can just weave them back and forth through enemies. It feels great. So S tier. Return to Sender, probably another S tier. This one's really cool. It visually looks really awesome where you have the line come out and then it comes right back to you. Chops apart enemies. It's really strong too once you get the hang of it. So yeah, probably up there. Rewiring mod, it's like another C tier. It's ammo efficient, which is cool, but you got to be overheating your gun, and it's kind of whatever. RJ250 compound, S tier, easy. You get to blast yourself and your friends around with your grenade launcher. It's really cool. It's actually really good too if you want to go a full crowd control build with it, because you can go with like incendiary grenades, go all ammo. You have something like 24 shots or 23 shots. I don't remember how many you get with it. And it kills hordes pretty well if you do that. It's not that great against single targets anymore, but I mean, you get to kill crowds and you get to fling yourself around, which is awesome. Roll control, probably another S tier. This one's super fun to control the breach cutter so that you can move the line however you'd like. It's really good with triple line split. It's also really good with what's the other one? Plasma trail. Because plasma trail just cuts through everything and does so much damage over time. Salvo module, another S tier. You get an explosive shotgun, which is awesome. I love it. Seeker rounds. Seeker rounds are kind of cool. I'd probably put them up into A tier. Maybe not S tier. They are cool though, because you can lock onto an enemy, walk around a corner, be completely safe, and be punching through that enemy. They're really good against dreadnoughts. And they're pretty good in like crowd situations too, at least usually. Shape shells, probably another A tier. It's really surprising how accurate the double barrel can be with this one. You can kill things from quite a ways away that you wouldn't think you could. Shield battery booster, this one is cool if you can get it to work. If you're not working with it, it's kind of annoying. B tier, it's not one of my favorites to run in terms of fun, because it's kind of micromanaging, and if I'm playing Scout and I want to have fun, I'm probably running more reckless stuff. This one kind of slows down my playstyle, but you do get a lot of value from it, so B tier. Six shooter's probably A tier. You can shoot it really fast, which is cool. Sludge blast is probably A tier in terms of fun, because you get an acid shotgun that's really good against flying enemies and is decent against hordes. The main problem with Sludge Blast is that it's not a good overclock overall. It pretty much just, you get a shotgun and then you lose out on everything else, where you lose out on tank size, you lose out on tank size, you lose out on ammo, you lose out on, I think, damage, which doesn't make any sense for this to be a shotgun. This one's really weak, but it is really fun. Snowball's probably S tier. You get little cryo grenades that you can fire out. It's very similar to like Ice Spear. It's just an awesome overclock that's super fun to use. Maybe not the most efficient, but super fun. Special powder, alright, that one doesn't even need to be talked about. That one's definitely S tier. You get to fly around with your double barrel. Everywhere that you, as long as your feet are not touching the ground, you can fly with your double barrel. So, you can use this to launch yourself in the air. You can use it to launch yourself into the ground if you want to die for whatever reason. You can use this to fling yourself away from enemies. You can fling yourself towards enemies. You can use this to fling yourself towards friends or objectives. You can use it to save yourself from falls. Especially if you combine this with like Overclock, it's a super fun loadout to use. Or even like impact deflection. No, like just super fun. Spinning death, like another S tier. You get a blender. You get to throw enemies in a blender, so really fun. Also really scary looking with like triple line split, even though triple line split is usually better for like Mactera, and then the plasma trail is usually better for anything that's on the ground. It's just the triple line split looks way more intimidating. Splintering shells, a good overclock, but very similar to like Carpet Bomber. It's probably like B tier. Sticky additive, you get more damage, you have a little bit more sticky flames, cool on the flamethrower, but yeah, it's okay. The regular sticky fuel though, this one's probably like S tier, because you can actually use the flamethrower like a real flamethrower then, where you lay down fire and it stays for quite a while, especially if you're running additional add-ons for flame duration. I think you can get this thing up to like 10-second flames or something like that, which may not sound like a while, but 10 seconds when there's a horde going on that's a lot of fire that can be put down and stay down. Stronger plasma current, this one's like a C tier. It's a stronger breach cutter, which is really cool, but not super fun because it's just the same as the regular breach cutter. Stuff shells, a lot more ammo, which is cool with the shotgun, so like B tier. Stunner, you stun enemies more. You do higher damage to stunned enemies. C tier, I think, in terms of fun. Supercooling chamber. Supercooling chamber can be fun. It depends on what mission you take and what your team is taking. If you take it on like Dreadnought missions, then it can be really fun. If you take it on every other mission, it can be really bad. Unless your team's just running ammo and they're letting you take like every other resupply. You're getting like resupplied twice. then it can still be fun. But it is pretty punishing when you're actually using this. So I think I'm going to put it into A tier. Fun, but not necessarily good. Super slim rounds, it's like another C tier. More ammo is great, but nothing crazy. Thermal exhaust feedback, this one's pretty fun. I like this one. A tier. You get to light enemies on fire with your Drac. You do decent damage. You actually do a lot of damage with this. It's pretty efficient. But you do have to kind of be micromanaging it so that you don't overheat your gun too much. But I think it's the right amount of micromanaging for me. Thermal liquid coolant. This one's pretty good. B tier. It's honestly, it just makes the gun feel better. And you can build the gun a little bit differently if you like going with cooldowns and less heat per shot. Then this lets you change it up a little bit or stack on top of that, which also feels pretty good. Thin drum walls, more ammo, good, but fun, B tier. Tranquilizer's pretty fun. A tier. This way you can trank the bugs, act like you're on a nature show or something. It's not bad either because it has a pretty high chance of stunning enemies. Tuned cooler, you freeze enemies really fast, but it feels like it's just a more quick freezing cryo gun. So A tier, I guess. Turret arc, this one can be pretty fun to use. I don't really like the strategy of just put down the turret's base and then just shoot them and then run and just keep doing this, because it's like that is the most ammo efficient, but it's the least engaging way to play the game. It's much more fun to be setting up your turrets and trying to arc them back and forth to hit enemies at a distance. I like it then, so A tier. Turret EM discharge, kind of the same thing. The most efficient way is not really a fun way to play it, and I'd probably put it lower than turret arc because it's less spectacular, I guess. Volatile bullets. This one can be really fun because if you light enemies on fire, you're doing 4 times damage with the revolver. The revolver already has insanely high damage. You are taking away 10 of your total damage, but who cares when you're doing 200 damage a shot? Like A tier in terms of fun. Maybe S tier. I don't know. It is fun to just smack stuff real hard. It's like A or S tier, somewhere around there. Volatile impact mixture. This one's cool. Makes the sludge pump feel way better. But in terms of fun, it's probably like B tier. It's okay. And then we have well-oiled machine, fast rate of fire, cool. Like another B tier one. Yeah, this looks about right for all the overclocks, I would say, in terms of fun. The ones that end up down here, they're so situational, or they're just not that great in general, like these two really, and these ones just aren't that great. I wish they were a bit better. The ones that end up in C tier are just kind of the ones that are, the guns are still pretty much the same. They just do a couple things maybe different. B tier, all these feel good, or all of them feel kind of entertaining. They're not bad by any means, but they're just kind of like the neutral ones that you take for whatever reason, either because they're really good or because, they're very ammo efficient, whatever it might be. A tier is where you start getting into the real fun stuff. And then S tier is where you're getting into like the crazy fun stuff that's always entertaining, even if it's not necessarily great things to be using. So this is my tier list of all the overclocks in terms of how fun I think that they are. Tell me what your list is down below, or what your 10 favorite overclocks are in terms of fun. Not necessarily in terms of how good they are, but just in terms of fun. I think that would be really cool to listen to, or maybe your top 5, or maybe your top 1, whatever it might be. Leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Thanks everybody for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Special thanks to the members of this channel and the supporters over on Patreon. You guys are awesome. They get early access to videos like this as well. And if you would like to be a part of that, there are links down in the description to each of those. Thanks everybody who does that. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.